Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another Ultimate Creative Chat. I'm here today with Folasade, and she is a brilliant accountant. She is the accountability accountant, to be exact. And she is going to talk to us today all about what we need to know in regards to accounting with our small businesses. So, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Danielle, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the accounting field.
I hate to say this, but I have like that typical like Black American success story. You grow up in the hood, you struggle, um, but throughout, but throughout that journey, um, my father was an accountant, so I'm a second generation accountant. And so my dad lived in the suburbs and I lived in the
Mhm.
hood. And so tax time, me and my mom will be walking on a bus and all of our friends press to go to H&R Block to get our taxes done. And we'll be getting
Mhm.
refunds. We're like, oh, my mother getting 3,000, my mother getting 5,000. And when I started to intern with my dad over the summertime, the conversations were totally different. No one was really getting refunds. They were like, oh, well, how can I reduce what I'm owing? I'm like, you're owing. Then they started talking about like real estate and rental properties, and the conversations about taxes was just completely different.
Mhm.
So throughout my journey, I was supposed to go in another direction, but God had His plan for me to be right here. What I realized was that I'm going to take as much knowledge from those rich communities and everybody else and bring it to my community so we can have the financial
Mhm.
knowledge and become financially literate so we can now use our taxes to build wealth and take advantage of all of the tax credits and things like that. So once I realized that we can strategically use our taxes, regardless of how much money you make, regardless of your background, to really level up, I started to realize that I can do some work with our community through that. So that's kind of where it came from. My background, my dad, and then me was like, oh, why we're not having the same conversations. And
Yeah.
that moment forward, it's just been out my mission to really inform our community about taxes, tax credit, and deductions like hiring your child and things like that.
Hmm. Oh, that's beautiful. And you're right. We do need that knowledge and that information. That's one reason why the Ultimate Creative Chat exists, so that we can have, experts like you here to talk to us about this kind of thing. So thank you very much for showing up and being willing to share.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, tell us one of the main things that we need to know as business owners when it comes to not owing so much in taxes.
Mm. So I'm going to have to kind of start from another direction and then lead into that. I think
Okay.
the first thing we need to know as business owners is that accounting is the language of business. So if we're not doing our accounting, then we don't really know what's happening with our business. We don't know where our money is going, how much money we're bringing in, if we're overspending in this area. And so, with that being said, we actually need to do our bookkeeping first. And then the moment we do our bookkeeping, then at that point, I've already known that I have all of your expenses totaled, right? Now, the tax strategy comes afterwards. So, the biggest tax strategy that any business should know is that you need bookkeeping. Even if you don't hire an accountant to actually do it, but you try to do it on your own or whatever the case may be, it just needs to be done. And everything in and out of your company needs to be tracked. Because if you don't do that, then we're automatically leaving money on the table, Danielle. Because let's say, for example, the average business owner missed $3,000 in tax in business expenses, right? That means the IRS will tax them on $3,000 more. So you have ended up paying additional taxes just because we didn't do the first part of business, which is do our bookkeeping and our accounting. So the first tax strategy is doing your accounting first. Once I know that every expense over the sun, under the water that you have in your business was calculated and there, then I can look at those expenses, Danielle, and be like, oh, okay. So you operated your business out of your home. You didn't have rental expenses. Okay, so then we can do the business use of home deduction. Okay, so you have employees, but you don't have a 401k or retirement plan.
Right.
Okay, so let's go ahead on and do a retirement account. But None of the tax strategies, honestly, really work until we do the first step. Or what we will end up doing, Danielle, is cheating the tax system forever because we're not doing the bookkeeping.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for that breakdown. That makes a whole lot of sense. So, guys, if you are not doing that, she's laying it out there for you. These are some things you really need to think about. And I really appreciate you bringing that to light. I'm going to take a quick break for a commercial and we're going to come right back. You all stay with us. We're going to get some more from Folasade. And I know you're going to want to catch this, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Do you own a growing business? Danielle Rosser's clients get the keys to success when it comes to meeting their bottom line. Reach your intended audience with the proper branding, messaging, and storytelling when you partner with UltimateCreativ. So what can UltimateCreativ do for you? Click the link in the description for a consultation and let's get started. Back to the show. All right. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there with us. We are here once again with Folasade, the accountability accountant. And she is here to get you straight and get you right in terms of your accounting and making sure your taxes are together business wise. And she's got some more things that we are going to be talking about. But thank you very much for being with us. Folasade, we were talking during the break about some important information that the ladies out there need to know, and that is regarding how to structure one's business. Can
Mhm.
you talk about what you deal with in regards to that and the
Oh,
best way to structure?
yeah. So Danielle, I deal with this all the time, guys, and I find that most small business owners skip the step in consulting with an accountant like myself to figure out what business structure works with them, and it end up biting them in the tail years down the line or 1 year down
Mhm.
the line. So my first thing I would say is just consult with the professional, guys, before you just jump out there and just get any type of business registered, simply because you have so many different options. Let's just start. So we have the sole proprietor, okay, and then we have the partnership, we have the S corp, and then we have the corporation, right?
Mhm.
And so the challenging part is that all four of those structures can simply be set up by you having just an LLC. So the first thing that I will recommend, and I get some type of negative feedback a little bit when I tell people to do this, but I'm just stick to my guns, and how from my professional experience, I just recommend that at least start off with an LLC, not necessarily
Okay.
an LLC S corp or LLC partnership or converting it to a corporation, but just at least get the LLC for the liability purposes. One, the
Mhm.
protection that it gives you, that corporate veil. And then secondly, it is the structure that allows you to fluctuate as you grow. So you starting off as an LLC, barely making any money, we get to take advantage of all the tax deductions and credits and things like that on the lower end. But let's say, for example, you peak and you're making $250,000. Because you already have that LLC, Danielle, we're able to now convert you to a corporation, to a S corp, or to a partnership to save money, depending on which structure works with you. But Danielle,
Mhm.
so let's say if they start off as a sole proprietor, I cannot convert them. They will have to register a totally different business as an LLC, and then I can change the type of structure. So why is that important? Because so many people go out and get the S corp and cannot afford to maintain it, so don't file the returns, don't really know the compliance behind it, right? And then some people just get the sole proprietorship, and it doesn't benefit them. It's actually hurting them because their husband make a lot of money or the business is already making a lot of money. So here's the thing. When I recommend someone to structure their business, it really depends on their circumstances now, how much money they're bringing in now, how much do their spouse bringing in, what is their lifestyle. Do they have any
Mm-hmm.
children? Is their business making money? Like we have to put all of those things in context because here's the bigger picture. Let's say the our one of the ladies here has a husband. He's making 80,000. She's making 80,000 on her regular job and she started the business. Her being a regular sole proprietor may not work for them because the money sits on the personal tax return and taxed with the self-employment taxes. And
Mm-hmm.
so because they're both high income earners, it's doing them a disservice. So maybe being a corporation to separate the business from the family in totality may work, or maybe doing an S corp so she can put herself on W-2, or even doing a partnership so they can maybe hire the children or something like that. So I really think if we're going to just do it blindly, Danielle, go with an
Mm-hmm.
LLC without any type of conversions of a partnership, S corp or corporation. That's the safest one. But if we're going to be technical and you really want to maximize your taxes and things like that, and do it based align with your industry, your growth, and your lifestyle, then you want to consult with a professional because a corporation might be the best bet for you and your family. You
Mm-hmm.
know, let's say if your husband
Yes.
owe a lot of people and y'all supposed to be a partnership. You're like, oh no, we're gonna have creditors on our back. So a corporation might work. You see, so it's so many
Mm-hmm.
different contributing factors that goes into just establishing the business. But if we're just going to take away the technicalities and simplify things, just go with the regular LLC, but make sure you consult with a professional throughout your journey so that if we need to convert you over to an S corp to save money on taxes, we have the opportunity. And here's why I say that, Danielle. I had a client that was a sole proprietor. He made a killing. He made like $500,000. He was about to pay over $120,000 in taxes because he
Mm-hmm.
was a sole proprietor.
Right.
Now, because he was not a LLC, he had to be stuck. He got stuck with that $130,000 tax bill. Whereas if he was an LLC, like I recommended to your ladies here, then I
Mm-hmm.
could have converted him to a S corp, put him a little bit on payroll, and sealed the deal. He probably would have owed about 40,000.
Wow. Well, when you don't know, you don't know. This is why we have you here. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, there's so much that you just don't know when
Yeah.
you think about initially starting a business. And it pays, ladies, to do your research. Do your research. There's a lot out there. Even just researching Google and finding out what the business structures are to begin with. Maybe you don't know, that there are different business structures. You can research how to start a business and what the different structures are just to educate yourself to that extent,
Yes.
and then begin working with someone like Folasade who can steer you in the right direction and give you some more education because she just gave us some now. But they exist to give us some education and guide us in the right way. So thank you very much for that.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yes. What is something else? I'm curious. I know that I'm sure you do live streams and things sometimes, and people are just throwing questions at you. What are some of the things that you hear a lot of times?
Folasade, is it legal for me to hire my child? That seems like child labor, slavery, and all of this stuff. And I don't think you could build no wealth in the tax return and all of that stuff. So I get
Mm,
taught by the most two important keys of the tax system is that we are rewarded for being business owners and we are rewarded for building wealth. So yes, guys, you can hire your child, and yes, you can use your tax return to build generational wealth. So yes, we can dive into that day if you want.
absolutely. Let's do that. There are a lot of people who don't know that you can hire your children and how to do that in a way that is legal.
Yes, it's perfectly legal. So let's put this in perspective, guys. We all know Nike, right? Everybody love Nike. They've been around for generations, right? And guess how they've been successfully able to do that? By hiring their family and their children. When they first, if we really put this in perspective, every big business that we see today, Amazon, Nike, everybody, they started off just like us guys, mom and pop, out of our home, out of our garage,
Mm-hmm.
and basically just continued on. However, what I noticed was a significant difference throughout their journey is that they pulled in their family, Danielle, early on the journey. So while they were developing the businesses, they were teaching their
Mhm.
children and their family. While they were developing the business, they were pulling in cousins and stuff to sit on the board. And so, what we are not doing in the African American or brown community, however way most people say it, no offense, guys, but what we tend to forget is that we can do it just like them. With your little old LLC you think you have, nope, it's big time, just like theirs.
That's
And so the
right.
core thing is that we just need to realize and start operating things as a legitimate business. Because once we do that, then we will have the policies and the procedures in place, the documentations and the contracts and things like that that we need to really be strategic. So let me just back up just a little bit. Why did I say all of that? It's because you can hire your child, you can build generational wealth with the tax system through your businesses as long as you run it like a real business, meaning you have
Mhm.
employment contracts, independent contractor contracts. Um, if you hire speakers, model release like every part of your business is structured like a real business with policies and processes. Here's why. If you were to say you're going to hire your child and your child is 10, you have to think about at the age of 10, what could they actually do in your business? Look at Beyonce. Blue Ivy is on tour. Blue Ivy is what, 12, right?
Yeah.
Beyonce actually hired her and she's doing
Mhm.
something that she's actually capable of doing, which is dancing choreography. So the same amount of
Right.
money or even more because Blue Ivy have a bigger brand than the other dancers, she can pay her and write it all off, right?
Mhm.
And so everybody that's in your org and all of everybody that's listening to us can do the same thing. We just have to first, number one, find the position that they are capable of doing within your company. And today, guys, we cannot just go with that, oh, my child is a model. No, that doesn't work for every industry. That's just like me. I'm an accountant. When my daughter worked with me, now she don't. She don't want to work no more. When she worked with me, I couldn't hire her as my model. I'm an accountant. How is that necessary for my business? You understand?
Right.
Even if I say she's in a few videos, that's not enough to substantiate $13,000 of revenue. So the first trick is that number one, guys, you can hire your child. Okay. Regardless of the structure, you still will get the maximum benefit because it's really about the knowledge that they're going to get and
Mhm.
also the fact that you're income shifting because you're taking income from you and you're from at a higher tax rate and giving it to them at a lower tax rate. Okay.
Okay.
That's the second thing. The third thing is that now we get deductions and your child can start their retirement account and do all of that. But we first of all have to legitimize them because the IRS is one auditing those cases a lot now. So the first key is make them a bona fide employee. And think about
Mhm.
that. If you're being hired, what do they give us? Employment contracts, timesheets, login
Right.
credentials, the work. So we cannot skip a step. That's why I said, Daniel, it goes back to us running our businesses legitimately because we're going to need all of those things to hire people and hire our child. So once we get our processes and all that stuff in place and, find the position for them, we can hire them, but we have to go through the same steps everybody else do. Have a payroll company process the payroll, track their hours, create a job description, like the works, but it can be done.
Oh,
But also,
awesome.
before you guys just jump out and do that, you all have to also take into consideration your financial position. If you're receiving benefits from the government of any sort for your child, then hiring your child may not benefit you because the moment that child has income might make them ineligible for government assistance or health insurance. So this is the thing. So this is why, and I'm glad you have me on here because I've had people come into my live stream and say, somebody didn't tell me that if I hire my child that they'll lose their child support amount will be reduced or their government assistance will be reduced. Their
Mm.
SSI has been reduced. So this is why I said having these conversations with real professionals, Danielle, is
Yeah.
key because don't just hire your child. You can do it, but you want to speak with the professional first just to make sure it works for you. That's
Yes.
the thing.
Mm-mm-mm. The things you find out, guys. The things you find out. Wow. This has been a very enlightening conversation. And you guys jump in the discussion below in the comments. Leave her some questions. Leave me some questions. And, we will definitely do our best to answer those as quickly as possible. But I just appreciate you diving in the way you did for Lashade and sharing with us the things that we need to know.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Well, tell people, please, how they can find you and interact with you a little bit more, or maybe book a consultation with you, or what have you.
Okay, guys. So if you're interested in learning or following me and learning more about taxes and just being strategic and really trying to grow and scale your company, then you want to follow me on Instagram. It is Folasade, the accountant, spelled Folasade, the accountant. If you want to just do a consult with me, girl, just call my office at 202-618-1295. But I also recommend you guys come into my website, which is on my Instagram link tree, and join my mailing list because I shoot out almost everything before it actually happened. So any tax strategies that's new, I'm telling you guys. Any new laws, I'm informing you guys. So I think the best bet is not only to follow me on Instagram, guys, but to also join my mailing list so you can get the updated information and know what's
Hmm.
going on.
Oh, very good. Well, she has a wealth of knowledge, obviously, that she is very willing to share. So I appreciate just being a part of helping to get you guys the information. So thank you very much, Falash, today for being with us. And you ladies, tune in again for another Ultimate Creative Chat. We're going to keep bringing you the Falashades of the world and other experts who are here to empower us and help us to kind of make a little more progress, right? It's a step at a time. Thank you so much for being with us. You guys have a great day.
So, what can Ultimate Creative do for you? Click the link in the description for a consultation and let's get started.